She sent him off to a budget motel, only to find out the next morning that he was the sole owner of the whole place. The lobby of the Sterling Heights Hotel in Santa Monica thrummed with life and energy. The atmosphere was alive with the weary travelers as they checked in, bellhops skillfully navigating luggage trolleys, and the gentle murmur of conversations echoing off the gleaming marble floors, filling every nook on that Friday night. This establishment was far from an ordinary hotel. Its grandeur was unmistakable. The grand entrance was embraced by majestic palm trees, while a magnificent chandelier, worth more than most homes, illuminated the heart of the ceiling with its warm glow. In her mid-30s, Rachel found herself positioned behind the front desk, ready to weave the tales of those who crossed her path. She exuded confidence, yet the weariness etched on her face told the tale of a day spent in unyielding motion. For the past 12 hours, she'd been immersed in the intricate dance of managing last-minute room requests, navigating the needs of demanding guests, and handling the occasional irate caller who insisted their reservation had vanished into thin air. Rachel found herself weary of any further surprises this evening. Though her uniform had started the day with a sharp crispness, it now bore the subtle creases of a long shift, and her patience was wearing thin. The lobby doors swung open once more, revealing a scene of orchestrated chaos. A man stepped into the establishment, his presence seemingly ordinary at first glance. He wore worn denim, scuffed sneakers, and a hoodie that had clearly lived a full life. With no baggage to weigh him down, he sported only a leather messenger bag casually draped over one shoulder. The man halted, his gaze sweeping the room as though he were searching for a lost treasure or a familiar face. His visage remained largely unaltered. The staff navigated the space with intent, while the guests engaged in lively discussions. He was just another late-night walk-in, yet there was an intriguing quality to his demeanor that set him apart. The nervous buzz of the last-minute arrivals contrasted sharply with his relaxed composure. He radiated a calm assurance, as though the lively chaos around him was merely a distant murmur. The receptionist took note of him, though not for the serene assurance he exuded. It was his untidy look that drew her in, leading her to form an immediate impression. Rachel's eyes flickered to the man as he made his way to the desk, a sigh held back within her. A flicker of annoyance began to bubble up within her. Late-night walk-ins often proved to be quite the bother, whether it was a weary traveler stubbornly rejecting a no or someone trying to haggle for a more favorable rate. She believed she could discern the category to which this individual belonged simply by observing his appearance. The man welcomed me with a soft and humble tone, extending his wishes for a delightful evening. I wish to secure a room for the evening. Rachel conjured a smile so delicate that it scarcely reached her eyes. With a steady voice, she responded, "I'm sorry, but we are fully booked for tonight, sir," her professionalism shining through even in her directness. With a feigned air of confidence, she tapped on her keyboard as if to confirm her prior understanding. The man paused, his silence lingering in the air. Instead, he tilted his head ever so slightly, watching her with a gentle curiosity that sent a shiver down her spine. "Is your schedule completely filled at the moment?" he asked, his voice unwavering. "Not a single apartment can be found in this vast expanse." Rachel felt a tightness in her chest, the air thickening with the unspoken tension that hinted at the onset of a brewing conflict. Indeed, that holds true. Every one of our rooms is filled to the brim, for today has been a whirlwind of activity. With a sweeping motion of her hand, she directed attention to the bustling lobby filled with visitors, underscoring her message with a flourish. A quaint motel sits just a few blocks down the road. There may be a chance that they have some openings. Her words hung in the atmosphere, and for a fleeting instant, she thought she caught a glimpse of a playful smile dancing across his features. Yet, it disappeared as quickly as it had come, leaving behind a subtle smile that failed to illuminate his gaze. He locked eyes with her, leaning ever so slightly on the counter, a moment suspended in time. "Are there any changes to the schedule? Are there truly no options available?" he asked, his expression free of annoyance. Instead, it radiated a sense of wonder. Rachel felt her irritation swell and grow stronger. What prevented him from just accepting her answer and taking his leave? She declared, "Sir, I do not believe this is the appropriate location for you," her voice shifting to a more patronizing tone. As I have shared before, there exists a motel nearby. It seems likely that they possess something that aligns perfectly with your needs. Her gaze lingered on his hoodie and trousers, the meaning clear in the unspoken moment. In this setting, one could sense that it was far from suitable for someone like him. The man's expression transformed into a cryptic mask as he straightened himself. Rachel entertained a fleeting thought that he might challenge her, yet he simply nodded and stepped back from the counter. With a gracious nod, he expressed, "Thank you for your time," before making his exit. Rather than making his way to the exit, he chose to settle into a corner chair in the lobby seating area, granting him a clear view of the front desk. As Rachel went about her tasks, she found herself stealing glances at him, unable to resist the pull of his presence. What was he immersed in? What led to his inability to leave? She couldn't shake the feeling that this man held deeper secrets beneath the surface, yet she quickly brushed it aside. She found herself consumed by the pressures of her work, burdened further by the unexpected arrival of uninvited guests. Though a sense of discomfort lingered as she noticed his quiet, watchful demeanor, she chose to cast it aside. In the end, what options did he truly have? Rachel sought to shake off the strange feeling of being watched as time slipped by. The man lingered in the corner, his gaze drifting about the lobby from time to time, yet often finding its way back to her. She spun a tale in her mind, convincing herself that it mattered not. He was just a stranger, a shadow who could not bear the sting of being turned away. Yet, with every sidelong glance, her frustration grew deeper. The lobby had quieted down by the time the clock chimed 11. As the guests began to dwindle, Rachel found herself with a burden that was now easier to bear. With a soft sigh, she felt a wave of relief wash over her, savoring the moment as her shift neared its end. Her heart raced at the thought of unwinding at home with a glass of wine, yet the comfort she sought slipped away like sand through her fingers. "Forgive me," the person was once more positioned at the desk. Rachel found herself momentarily startled by his sudden approach, yet she swiftly masked her surprise with the remnants of her professional composure, worn thin after a long day. "Indeed," she replied, her tone sharper than she had meant it to be. This time, she made no effort to conjure a smile. With a calm and steady voice, he expressed his regrets for the inconvenience caused. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that a handful of visitors had just made their entrance. "Are you absolutely sure that there isn't a single spot open?" Rachel found herself suddenly overwhelmed, her patience slipping away in an instant. With her arms crossed, she declared, "Sir, I have already explained this to you. The visitors had been granted accommodations because of their reservations. I find myself at a loss for words to share with you." He nodded with a calm demeanor, unaffected by the irritation she displayed. "I see." His reply was thoughtful. "Furthermore, might it be possible to secure a table for tomorrow evening?" In a moment of astonishment, Rachel blinks in disbelief. "Is the dawn of tomorrow drawing near?" She emphasized once more, "Truly. Is tomorrow open for us?" His voice flowed with an unsettling calmness as he posed the question. With a furrowed brow, she delved into the system, her fingers dancing nimbly over the keyboard. With a hint of hesitation, she admitted that "We have accommodations available tomorrow. Yet, I find myself pondering the impact this may have on you this evening." With a gentle smile, he responded, "It matters not. Yet, knowledge holds its own value." Rachel's irritation began to rise. She found herself puzzled by the reason behind his tone, which carried an air of arrogance. She suddenly cut in, her voice soaring beyond what she had meant to convey. "I simply cannot afford to waste a moment on this," she proclaimed. "If you find yourself unable to afford a stay here and lack a reservation, it might be wise to cease this fruitless endeavor and consider visiting the motel I mentioned earlier." The words hung delicately in the atmosphere, waiting to be embraced. The man's expression held steady, yet a subtle shift flickered within his irises. With a subtle nod, almost lost to the eye, he slipped away into the shadows once again. Without a moment's pause, he responded, "I understand." He then settled back into his corner seat in the lobby, silent and unruffled, his demeanor unchanged. Rachel felt a brief pang of regret, yet she quickly pushed it aside. Her struggle lay not with him. She felt a sense of completion, convinced that she had met her responsibilities. Yet, the way he watched her, quiet and steady, stirred within her an odd feeling that she found impossible to dismiss. Rachel pressed on, her focus unwavering as time slipped away, yet the figure in the corner lingered in her thoughts, refusing to be ignored. He maintained a calm presence, ensuring that no disruptions occurred. In truth, he remained perfectly still. Instead, he sat with an air of calm that carried a hint of unease. Occasionally, his gaze would drift toward the front desk, as though he were capturing every nuance in his mind's eye. Rachel wove a narrative in her mind, trying to convince herself that the situation held no weight. In the lobby, people lingered, some anticipating rides, others reconnecting with familiar faces, and many just savoring the moments as time drifted by. Yet, this person was not flipping through a magazine or scrolling on his phone. He was simply taking in the scene around him. At a certain moment, she caught sight of him watching a young bellhop struggling to navigate a hefty luggage cart. Rachel felt a wave of surprise wash over her as the man stood up from his seat and made his way toward her, extending a hand of help. With a few swift adjustments, he showed the bellhop the art of balancing the cart more effectively, prompting a look of gratitude from the weary staff member. Rachel watched the exchange unfold, her expression clouded with discontent. Who was this person believing himself to be? He was wasting her time, despite his image as the kind-hearted helper. As the evening unfolded, she found herself noticing a tapestry of other details woven into the fabric of the night. The man observed the subtle nuances that frequently escape the notice of other visitors. With a watchful eye, the concierge offered his unwavering support to a couple seeking improvements, embodying patience and attentiveness. He watched as the diligent cleaning staff meticulously wiped away the smudges from the glass doors, their efforts evident shortly after the marks had made their entrance. Moreover, he noticed Rachel, her voice rising as she addressed a colleague who had asked about the reservation system. At times, he would cast his eyes upon her, a veil of mystery shrouding his expression. It was neither judgmental nor furious. Instead, it carried a sense of reflection, akin to piecing together a puzzle. As the clock inched closer to midnight, the man rose to his feet, casually draping his leather bag over his shoulder. Rachel felt a wave of relief wash over her. At this moment, he may choose to leave, and she might finally sense the freedom of being unobserved. He conveyed his appreciation for your warm welcome in a soft, measured tone. As he neared the exit, Rachel barely lifted her gaze from her screen, offering a distracted, "Have a good night." Yet, he paused for a moment, reflecting on the choices he had made just before stepping into the revolving doors. He cast a lingering gaze over the lobby, taking in the immaculate floors, the shimmering chandelier, and the dedicated staff who moved quietly in the background. At last, his eyes lingered on Rachel once more. With a hint of a knowing smile, he took his leave. Rachel found herself enveloped in a curious wave of relief. Yet beneath that surface, a strange and unyielding tension lingered, eluding her grasp. Little did she know, the night still held many twists and turns ahead. As dawn broke, the dedicated staff of the Sterling Heights Hotel gathered in the conference room, drawn together for an unforeseen team meeting. With a weary sigh, Rachel stepped into the room, the remnants of her late shift clinging to her like a heavy cloak. In these gatherings, one could expect to hear the latest on policies and gentle nudges to encourage the promotion of various services. There is nothing of significance to share. In the dim light of the room, she settled into a chair at the back, her fingers dancing over her phone as she awaited the manager's arrival. As the room began to fill, an extraordinary wave of energy washed over the personnel, igniting a palpable excitement in the air. A special announcement was the topic of conversation, yet it seemed that no one truly grasped what it entailed. Rachel noted the heightened awareness among the senior personnel as she surveyed her surroundings. A clear distinction existed, without a doubt. As the door swung open, in walked Mr. Calloway, the esteemed general manager. The shadow of a man trailing closely behind him intensified his usual air of confidence. Rachel's digestion took a turn for the worse. She spotted the figure from the night before, the one she had sent running and cast aside. He stood tall and poised, dressed in a sharply tailored suit that sharply contrasted with the casual hoodie and jeans he usually favored. "Greetings to all, esteemed Mr. Professional. I hope this message finds you all in good spirits and well-being. Today, we gather with great excitement to welcome a remarkable guest, someone who has shown a genuine curiosity about the workings of this hotel. Rachel's mind was a tempest of turmoil. Could this be seen as a form of grievance? Had this man come back to stir up trouble over how she had treated him? She settled further into her chair, her heart racing within her chest. With a radiant smile, Mr. Calloway proclaimed, "Allow me to introduce the remarkable Mr. Elon Musk." Once upon a time, a new figure emerged as the steward of the Sterling Heights Hotel. Silence enveloped the chamber, wrapping it in an eerie stillness. All eyes were drawn to the man whom Rachel had so sternly dismissed the night before. His face remained calm, yet it carried the same understanding look as the night before, as he offered a subtle nod to the room. Rachel felt her breath catch in her throat, and time seemed to stand still as she became utterly still. Let me take you on a journey to explore the enigmatic figure known as Elon Musk. A visionary entrepreneur, he has captivated the world with his ambitious ventures and innovative ideas. From electric cars to space exploration, join me as we delve into the life and impact of this remarkable individual. Had she belittled the owner of the hotel, Elon Musk? Her thoughts swirled chaotically, replaying the fragments of the previous evening's encounter like a haunting dream that refused to fade away. The individual she had first regarded as just another disheveled visitor was now speaking to the whole team as their leader. Elon moved forward, his hands gently intertwined before him. With a voice that resonated with care and contemplation, he started, "I have always believed that the true heart of any business is its people. I find great value in witnessing things firsthand, unfiltered and unadulterated by outside influences. Last night, I found myself immersed in the bustling world of the hotel, where I witnessed the unwavering patience of the concierge staff and the remarkable teamwork of the bellhops. I witnessed a multitude of remarkable sights that truly captivated my attention." He paused, letting his words linger in the air, giving them the opportunity to connect with the audience. His eyes then shifted to Rachel. As he spoke to her, warmth crept up her neck, igniting a vivid blush. Yet, I noticed moments that highlighted the importance of kindness and meticulousness in the realm of hospitality. Rachel felt a knot form deep within her, a twisting sensation that gripped her insides. Though her name was left unspoken, the weight of his words carried an unmistakable meaning. The silence enveloped the room, thick and palpable, as if the very air held its breath, waiting for the inevitable moment to unfold. As Elon continued, it became clear that his aim was not to belittle anyone, but to share a message that would resonate deeply. Elon's words hung in the air, casting a weighty silence over the staff gathered in the room. Rachel sensed the gravity of his words pressing upon her, igniting a rapid thrum in her pulse. Though he refrained from uttering her name, the way his gaze lingered upon her, with intention and unwavering focus, revealed no hint of doubt. With her gaze fixed on her hands, she found herself unable to lift her eyes and meet anyone's gaze. Elon exuded a strong yet understanding presence. In a place like this, where people expect nothing but the finest service, the way we engage with them becomes the key element in shaping their experience. Sometimes, the simplest gestures, like a warm smile or a touch of patience, can weave a tapestry of profound change. He took a moment, his eyes gentle as they wandered across the room. "Allow me to illuminate a particular aspect. This is not about placing blame or casting accusations. The journey of growth takes center stage. Here I stand, filled with assurance in the promise this hotel holds, and I recognize that every person gathered here plays a vital role in weaving its tale of success. Furthermore, within each of you," the staff whispered in agreement, yet Rachel held her tongue, her thoughts swirling like a tempest. She found herself caught in a loop, endlessly replaying the way she had spoken to him the night before. Disregard and superiority. In this moment, everything appeared so clear and avoidable. Her face burned with the weight of embarrassment. Elon expressed his commitment to working hand in hand with management, ensuring that our team is equipped with every resource needed to thrive and reach our goals. The journey begins today. This includes responsibility, education, and assistance. We must weave a tapestry of the highest standards for ourselves and those who come to share in our journey. With a subtle nod of appreciation, Elon acknowledged the moment, and the atmosphere filled with a warm wave of applause. As the meeting drew to a close, the staff began to disperse, their voices weaving through the air with soft, whispered exchanges. Rachel sat still, her legs heavy and unyielding, as if burdened by an unseen weight. Just as she was mustering the courage to rise, she felt a presence beside her. As she lifted her eyes to the sky, she could see Elon standing out against the backdrop. Her heart teetered on the edge of silence. "Ah, Rachel, is it not?" he asked with a calm and straightforward demeanor. With a determined effort, she gulped down hard, and suddenly her mouth felt like the desert, dry and unyielding. "Indeed, sir," she triumphed, her voice barely lifting above a whisper. His expression held a mysterious depth as he regarded her for a fleeting moment. He then smiled, a smile that radiated warmth and comfort, leaving her utterly astonished. He acknowledged the challenges you faced yesterday, recognizing it was a tough day for you. Being at the center of the whirlwind when chaos unfolds can be quite a daunting task. Every interaction holds its own weight and meaning. Even in moments when it seems no one is watching, people are keenly attuned to how they are treated. Rachel nodded quickly, her mind racing to find the right words. She stammered, and understanding dawned upon me. Furthermore, I offer my sincerest apologies for. Elon gently interjected, raising a hand to pause her words. There's no need for regret. What I seek is for you to take wisdom from the journey. With a subtle nod, he turned to leave, allowing her to delve into the depths of her reflections. In a gathering filled with anticipation, a moment of truth unfolded, accompanied by his insightful observations. It all swirled in her thoughts like a raging storm. It was a pivotal moment in her journey, one where she truly grasped the weight of her choices and the ripple effects they might unleash. In that fleeting moment, Rachel forged a silent promise within her heart to elevate her craft, not just for the delight of her audience, but also for her own growth. As Rachel stepped out of the conference room, a swirl of feelings washed over her: embarrassment, remorse, and a flicker of determination ignited within her. Elon's words echoed in her mind, not as a scolding, but as a valuable lesson. She discovered that her choices, though driven by fatigue, were inexcusable. Every soul who crossed the threshold was met with kindness, regardless of their outward appearance. In the weeks that followed, Rachel embarked on a purposeful journey to embrace a new way of engaging with her work. Despite her weariness, she offered a genuine smile to every visitor. She absorbed every word, allowing the narrative to unfold before her, resisting the urge to leap to conclusions. She slowly began to perceive the impact. What once seemed like a monotonous task transformed into a journey filled with meaning, as her colleagues increasingly sought her guidance, and the guests greeted her with warmth and appreciation. A hushed legend emerged among the staff, woven from the threads of the mysterious proprietor's tale. The exact date of Elon's return remained a mystery, yet the anticipation hung in the air, keeping everyone in a state of suspense. Yet, the meeting transcended Rachel's unease of being watched. It stood as a beacon of the person she yearned to become. She had come to see her work, not just as a means to earn a living, but as a chance to weave small yet meaningful threads into the tapestry of others' lives. That day, she gleaned a lesson that was simple yet deeply impactful. Never underestimate the power of kindness, and refrain from forming judgments about a person solely based on their appearance. One can never truly grasp the essence of the person they engage with, or the profound impact their words may hold. Thus, the essence of the tale unfolded as Rachel persevered, shining brightly as a symbol of excellence at sterling heights. While generosity comes at no cost, its rewards can be life-changing. If this tale captured your imagination, remember to show your appreciation by liking, commenting, and subscribing. This will guarantee that you encounter more tales that are both uplifting and significant. Your attention is truly valued, and we eagerly anticipate our next encounter.